What's up, FANVERSATION? Kari Lane here, and joining me now is Martin Guigui, who wrote and directed Sweetwater, which is coming to theaters April 14th. Where did the idea come from, and what made you want to tell this story now?
I bumped into this story in the mid-90s when I was visiting the Basketball Hall of Fame and learned that there were three individuals, Earl Lloyd, Chuck Cooper, and Sweetwater Clifton, three Black players who were the first to be drafted, first to play, and the first to be contracted. And I became intrigued. For some reason, Kari was like, wait a minute. How come I want to know more. I want to know what happened. And I was also intrigued by why it had not been celebrated. So being a creator, being a filmmaker, a musician, and a blues and jazz lover, and knowing that African-American culture has impacted in so many different areas of what we take for granted today is our culture. That's what grabbed me. And I thought, okay, let me dive into this. And I became obsessed, Kari. I started, I got to find Sweetwater. And of course, he had passed away by a few years. And I was like, no, I wanted to talk to that guy. I wanted to ride in his cab and, or take him. I wanted to drive him and celebrate him. And so, his family was gracious enough to share information, and same with the Saperstein family and Lapchick family, etc. It has been a wonderful journey, and also really challenging because it's a fragile story. And we wanted to tell this story. Our goal was to tell this story not only truthfully and authentically, but also with entertainment value, so that it could be ingested not only emotionally, but also from a perspective of inspiration.
I think inherently most sports films are, and so it's a nice avenue to tell history and the entertainment, as you were saying.
Well said. Brilliant. Yes.
And then another big thing is you have such a stellar lineup with your cast. Did you have those people in mind when you were writing? And what was it like when they actually signed on to the project?
Great question. I did have some of these actors in mind. I had Kevin Pollak in mind, and I had Richard Dreyfuss in mind. And I did interact with them in an earlier iteration of the picture, which goes back into the 2006 time frame, where they committed to the film. And that particular version of the film didn't get made. As we know, in cinema, there's no rhyme or reason when it happens, but the stars align, and it comes together at one point or another. And I honored that when we finally heard we were making the film. And so I reached out to them, and Richard said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes, I'm sure. Let's go." And so it was really cool that they honored it as well. Kari had been mentioned years back also to me through his family, through his brother. And so that worked out great because there was a line of communication, and he identified with, the Ned Irish role, the owner of the Knicks, a tough role to play. He did it brilliantly. And Everett Osborne, a newcomer, we found him through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of submissions. And it was just the diamond in the rough that just, wow, I'm here. I have a purpose in life. I was born to play Sweetwater. I am Sweetwater. And that was just amazing that he could play the way he plays, and the gifted understanding of how to deliver, theatrically on camera. So I was just a right place, right time. I always say, as a director, whoever's on set the first day of filming gets to be in the movie.
Nice. And last question, were there any particular happy accidents where something did not go as planned, but actually turned out for the better?
Probably the whole movie. I know. No, all kidding aside, well, it is a miracle that it got made. But yes, there were certain comic relief moments that happened because, you have Kevin Pollak, who can walk the fine line of comedy and tragedy. You have Jeremy Piven, also, who can walk the fine line of comedy and tragedy. And those guys brought a certain, if nothing else, call it comic relief, but more, no, there was a poignant aspect to the story that was done tastefully. And that happened organically on set. And I'm very open, you know, as a screenwriter and as a filmmaker, I'm open to all possibilities. And so, you know, those little gems, those moments happened, you know, again, like as you just asked, those magical moments that you cannot plan. And we knew when those moments were happening, and we knew we were going to keep them.
Nice. Well, those always, it's like such a magical, as you said, magical surprise. Well, thank you so much and congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much, Kari. Glad you dug it. Thanks for taking the time to.
Of course. Pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.